At the back of the bus there is a bag of umbrellas, but it's not going to rain, and if it is, you're imagining it. Okay, we're going to get on the bus in a moment. The performance will start in just a second or two, and I hope you enjoy the time. If there are any problems, any questions, just come and speak to me or speak to Max, and we'll try and sort you out. In fact, what we'll do is we'll put you off the bus.
Yeah, thank you, Peter, and good morning to you.
Good morning to you,
and greetings and felicitations to you all. Now, I am a well-respected and well-known historian around these parts, and if you believe that, you'll believe anything. And in 1798, my great-grandfather was born at Trimley as a farmer at Grimston Hall, and I was born in 1880 in Walton, which makes me 137. I wear well for my age, don't I, madam? And I put it all down to clean living and Wright's coal tar soap. And I am your tour guide for the first half of the journey, and I will be filling your noodles with useless facts, figures and information gleaned from my research of the Felixstory Peninsula. So without further ado, we will go on to the coach. Your in-flight movie is Summer Holiday with Cliff Richard. And it's going to be a little bit of a squeeze, so I suggest you sit next to somebody you fancy, okay? Off we go then.
Right, follow the man, follow the man. Quick as you can.
Coach, can you let Peter know, and he'll come and look for you, all right? Yes. All right, we're all on?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's cosy on the back there, isn't it? It'll get cooler as we go along.
And away we go! Yay! 10 green bottles hanging on the wall, that's what we want to start next. Now I'm going to start with the old useless information straight away. The Orwell Hotel was designed by John Corder in 1896 for Douglas Toddymash, a son of Baron Toddymash of Helmingham Hall. And he was the youngest of 5 brothers, and Douglas enjoyed the family fortune, became a brewer, got brewer's droop, and then it's going to be a long morning. It's going to be St Mary Church. So there was 3 tributes on stage. And here we are, we've made it. So be careful as you get off. No accidents, we don't do them.
Beyond the bench. Oh right. Oh right.
Come on, ye young fellows, what follows the sea? Way, hey, blow the man down. Pray pay attention and listen to me. Give me some time to blow the man down. Blow the man down, bullies, blow the man down. Way, hey, blow the man down. Give me some rum and I'll sing you a song. Give me some time to blow the man down. With tinkers and tailors and soldiers and all. Way, hey, blow the man down. That ship for prime seamen on board the Black Ball. Give me some time to blow the man down. Blow the man down, bullies, blow the man down. Way, hey, blow the man down. Give me some rum and I'll sing you a song. Give me some time to blow the man down. 'Tis larboard and and starboard, on the deck ye shall sprawl. Way, hey, blow the man down. For kicking Jack Williams commands the black ball. Give me some time to blow the man down. Blow the man down, bullies, blow the man down. Way, hey, blow the man down. Give me some rum and I'll sing you a song. Give me some time to blow the man down.
When I was a little lad, also my mammy told me,
Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
that if I didn't kiss the girls, me lips would grow all moldy.
Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
Way all away,
We'll haul away together. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
for once I had an Irish girl, but she got fat and lazy.
Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
For now I have an Ipswich girl, and she can drive me crazy.
Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul away together. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. I set to sea as a country lad to make my dreams come true. A full of winter, the hardest and blue from Timbuktu. We went down like an anchor chain. I thought that we would drown. Swam belly up and cried like hell. We can't get a good man down. I rolled like Billy, oh, made the silly, oh, ended up in the rose and crown. Drank the night away, seems like yesterday when we went down. Now it's way, oh, can hold the man down. Way, oh, can hold the man down. Way, oh, can hold the man down. Boys, hold this man down. I rolled like silly, oh, made the silly, oh, ended up in the rose and brown. Drank the night away, seems like yesterday when we went down. Now we way, oh, can hold the man down. Way, oh, can hold the man down. Way, oh, can hold the man down. Boys, hold this man down.
Tom! Over here! Come and join us, man!
I thought I'd find you here, the Neptune.
Can a man not drink to celebrate?
You always seem to have something to celebrate.
And you always seem to have reason not to.
Married now.
And what? The lovely Susan wouldn't like it.
It's more that I can't afford it. I did not inherit my father's wealth and estates at the age of 12.
Come on. An estate in Trimley is hardly going to keep me in the manner to which I intend to become accustomed. It's more the profit from our voyages. The plundered galleons keep me in there, my friend.
Well, I'm pleased for you, but I have other interests now.
Oh, come on. Stay for a drink at least. Toast my latest enterprise.
You leave again so soon. But you have nothing left to prove.
I have everything left to prove. Thomas Cavendish, 30 years of age, and they call me the Navigator. Did you know that?
Yes. Ironic, really, since you were in fact the captain and I was the navigator.
But it was my expedition. We were the first to circumnavigate the globe after Drake. There are other places to explore, other islands to visit, other ships to capture.
Then I wish you well of it, but I will not be coming.
I can't do it without my best friend and fellow explorer. Well, come on, Tom. Does the sea not call to you? Did we not have the best of times?
Oh, it was an adventure, I do not deny it. And I wish you Godspeed if you venture forth again, but I will not be coming.
Ever since we were schoolmates, all we talked about was the sea, the ships we'd command, the islands we'd visit, the treasure we'd capture.
I remember.
We were but 20 when Drake completed his voyage, and I said to you then, one day that will be us. Do you not remember?
I remember it.
Our ships, the Desire and the Hugland, you by my side, Chile, Tierra del Fuego, the Santa Ana with so much treasure you couldn't carry it, the island girls of war.
I remember the girls.
You were as keen to get ashore as the rest of us. And then there were the sea creatures, the dolphins that followed in our wake, the flying fish, the mermaids.
From her navel upward, her back and breast were like that of a woman's, and her skin was white, and her hair flowed behind her thin tail, which was like the tail of a porpoise, speckled like a magnet.
Aye. The sailors all sung about it.
I never saw a mermaid.
Oh, no, but they were there, I'm sure of it. And next time we'll see one.
I can't go back.
I need you. He that travels the world about seeth God's wonders and God's works. Thomas Eldred travelled the world about.
Sailed out of Plymouth, 21st July 1586. Arrived in Plymouth, 9th September 1588.
2 years, 49 days. 9 months faster than Drake. They said it couldn't be done. 2 unknown boys from the Trimley marshes.
But that's the point. We've done it. I've done it. I've got the plaque to prove it. I don't need to do it again.
Then who do I take as my right-hand man? You'll force me to take John Davis.
Oh, not Davis. You know he is not to be trusted.
Well then come. I have 5 ships and a jolly crew.
Oh, yes. I can't. You remember the treasure and the mermaids. I remember the sunken ships and the drowned crews. The wails and the screams as men's flesh burned on the galleon decks. The endless days and nights as the stocks ran low. The squabbles and the hunger and the burning sun as the freezing rain.
That was all part of the adventure.
I hear them often when I'm praying. I listen for the voice of God, but I hear the drowned voices instead.
Shows your weakness, Tom. You need another voice to toughen you up.
Right. And Susan is expecting a child. And I promised her and my father my seafaring days are over.
Then Davis it is.
No, not Davis. He will bring you down and your voyage will be blighted.
Rubbish! If you won't come, it has to be him.
I beg you, Cavendish, if you must set forth, find another.
If you change your mind, you'll find me here tomorrow at the same time.
I will be at St. Mary's, praying to Stella Maris for your soul.
Crowd that from the pierhead come to see their friends take ship for new ventures in seafaring, as the horses were let slip. As we swung out in the current, with goodbyes on every lip, midst the waving caps and kisses, as we dropped down with the tide, and the faces furred and faded, last of all your hand I smiled. Farewell, my love, good fortune, then my heart rose up and cried, while the world holds one such lover, whose sweet honor I regard, who would speed my safe departure. of seas, and the crimson oleanders burn against the peacock seas.
You can hear the Olympics pound as they race across the ground, and the clatter of the wheels as they spun round and round. And he galloped into Market Street, his badge upon his chest. His name was Ernie, and he drove the fastest milk cart in the West. Ha ha! Good evening, viewers. No, madam, your eyes do not deceive you. Although you may be asking yourself, what is the late great Benny Hill doing in the little backwater town of Felixstory, when he could be out there in the lap of a great dame? And you would be right. Mind you, I have front boards at the Star Pavilion. What washed up comedian hasn't? And I'll tell you, madam, a lot of them don't wash. Yes, I was there at the height of my fame, 5'8", and that is where I met Phoebe, or Kitten, the love of my life. But not since. John Howard Davies, Thames TV producer, decided to axe my show. Even the Spa won't have me back. He cited 3 reasons. He said villain figures were dropping off. You're not dropping off, sir, are you? Nearly. You will be by the end of the tour, I can tell you that. And he said I was too expensive. I was costing an arm, a leg and a nostril. I was getting right up his nose. And he said I was looking tired. Me? Tired? He should try doing 5 shows a week while working as a milkman. I should never have left the BBC. I was regularly getting film figures of over 20 million people. They're lucky if they get 8 these days. I play Melton. No, not Elton John. No, he was a sweetheart, darling. No, Ben Elton, the so-called comedian. He castrated my act, and he castigated it as well. He said I was single-handedly responsible for the rise of crime against women in this country. Me! Rubbish. He just didn't understand my humour. He didn't realise that my Hills Angels shouldn't have been taken seriously. PC killed me off. PC and do-gooders. Mind you, I've still got a legion of fans. There's Barbara Windsor, there's Michael Jackson, Brian Connolly, Donald Trump, Snoop Dogg. Do you know who Snoop Dogg is, sir? No, nor do I. Yes, probably some clown. Oh, and talking of clowns, my father and grandfather were clowns, so I come from a great comic tradition. Not that they were clowns when I was born on the 21st of January 1924 in Southampton. By that time, my father was running a chemist shop. And he insisted that I called him the captain. I called him a lot worse than that, I can assure you. But it was my grandfather that used to take me to the burlesque shows to see the clowns. I used to love them, the mime and everything. And after, and in tribute to my favourite comedian, Jack Benny, I changed my name to Benny Hill. But enough. Let me tell you about little Phoebe. She first came to see my act at the Spa Pavilion 40 years ago when she was 15. To be honest, I didn't really like the stage much. I was much happier under the old glare of TV cameras. But she came and we clicked, and we have ever since. You see, contrary to what you might think, I'm not very good with women. No, I am very shy in real life. Well, these shows of mine, they're all make-believe, aren't they? I used to work for Woolworths, and these little shop girls used to come up and have a cup of coffee in my flat and used to chat. It never got any further than that, until Phoebe came along. She was so sweet and understanding. But you see, Phoebe's got cerebral palsy. She never complains. I come up to Felixstowe 6 or 7 times a year, and we go out as often as we can in the summer. And she's got one of those sheltered housing complex homes. I shan't tell you where it is, for I respect her privacy. That was along the front. And she respects my privacy as well. I sleep in the guest room. So it's all nice and proper. Now look, we're running out of time, ladies and gentlemen, so we must get back on the coach and I'll tell you part 2 of Benny Hill's life. I've been to the Arctic and the Antarctic. I'm bipolar. And here we are, St. Peter and Paul Church.
Oh yeah, that's it. Thank you. That's why
You say, oh.
Gainsborough, my dear fellow, good to see you.
Governor Thickness, always a pleasure.
Good journey?
Tolerable. The coach from Ipswich proved not too crowded, and the weather was fair.
If I haven't kept you waiting, pressures of work and all that, fort won't run itself, more's the pity.
No, I've been waiting here no more than 20 minutes, I think. I've been admiring the architecture. It's a lovely church.
Dates back to the 14th century, I believe, much altered, of course.
I think as Methodists we miss out on the splendour of the early churches. We believe in simplicity, but a well-crafted building lifts the soul to God, do you not think?
Well, as you know, God and I have not always been on the best of terms, despite being born in a rectory. But when you've travelled as much as I have and seen such sights...
A soldier's life, I know, is never an easy one.
And as a painter, you'd know this?
I did not come to quarrel with you, Governor.
I did not mean to start one. They seem to start themselves. But I'm not in the best of moods, I must admit.
Trouble at the fort again.
There are times when I wish I'd never purchased the lieutenant governorship of the wretched place. Not that I had much choice of career at the time, having fallen out with both General Oglethorpe and the Marines. Admiral Medley, a pompous ass, sailing round Land's End in February, asking for trouble. But that's beside the point. The soldiers at the forts, they are lazy and incompetent. I was in Georgia at age 16, sir, living off the land in a wood cabin, chasing the errant Negroes up the mountains. Soldiers at the fort, they don't have born, sir. Should ship them all off to Jamaica, get them living like a Negro, that would soon sort them out.
I can't say soldiering is a life I would want. You're either in the thick of battle or bored to death, I should imagine.
Then lucky for you that your father shipped you off to London to be trained in printmaking.
I've never shirked hard work.
No, I'm not for a moment suggesting you have. Anyway, it would have been a waste. Talent such as yours, a waste.
That's kind of you to say, although I wonder at it sometimes. I often think a life doing something ordinary might be easier. To become a postmaster like my father, perhaps.
Fiddlesticks. He would have stayed in the wool trade if he could, and you know it. Besides, it might be easier, but far less rewarding. Oh, look at me, in charge of a company of men who wouldn't look out of place in a bovine herd. I run a tight ship. We have testing and we practice artillery drill on Landguard Common. I expect discipline and I mete out punishment if it's not met. There's as many a man gets put on the horse and thrown in the dark hole. But still they are lazy and complain and slack in their duties. I know there will come a time when I will be up in court on some charge, but the problem will not be me, sir, it will be all the others. What? Colonel Francis Vernon and I will come to blows, sir, verbally and very possibly physically.
Perhaps you should give him his due and step back a little.
Give him his due, sir? The man's an imbecile! Should not be in charge of a puppy, let alone a regiment of men. I will send him a wooden gun at the first sign of trouble. He will know me, sir, as a man who does not stand by and see incompetence go unpunished.
I like you, Thickness. I always have. But you know what is said of you, don't you? He has, in a remarkable degree, the faculty of lessening the number of his friends and increasing the number of his enemies. He is perpetually imagining insult and will sniff an injury from afar.
I don't imagine it, sir. I don't need to imagine it. It is there in my face from morning till night. I think I am a man of even temper, sir. And it's all the others, what?
You know they call you Lieutenant Governor Gallstones.
Not to my face, they don't. Anyway, what do I care for a cartoonist's comment? I would resign the commission, but I need the money. Being the seventh son of a clergyman isn't going to bring me any fortune, I know that.
How is Mrs. Thickness?
Elizabeth's expecting a fourth child, and they don't come cheap, I can tell you. She is very pregnant and suffering. But it's a woman's lot, and they must bear it.
I'm glad I'm not a woman. I found it hard to see Margaret suffer, sir.
I mean to write a treatise on childbirth. It interests me greatly. In another life, I might have been a surgeon or a midwife or a writer. I have so many ideas for books and pamphlets. There are books to be written on France, on Spain, on court-martials, gout.
Gout?
Gout, sir, gout. Cipher writing. And of course, you yourself, my dear friend, I do hope you will give me the honour of allowing me to write your biography. When you're famous, of course. But you will stay with us tonight. You can see Elizabeth for yourself.
Well, that is kind, if you're sure.
Not at the fort, of course. Felixstory Cottage offers much more agreeable accommodation. I spend as little time as possible at that wretched place. Now, I filled the garden with tamarisk. Elizabeth loves flowers.
She's a good wife to you.
I miss Maria, of course. She was a lovely-tempered girl. But Elizabeth is a touche, so there will be money eventually. Although my eldest fool that he is will inherit most of the fortune, none of it will be coming to me. Her family have seen to that. How is Margaret?
Well, she misses Sudbury.
You needed to move on. You'd outgrown the place.
I miss Sudbury too. The countryside was so...
But boyhood dreams. It was holding you back. You need to move on from rustic fancy. You're better than that. How are the girls?
Oh, Mary and young Margaret are both thriving, thanks be to God. And my wife fusses after them a little too much, but that's only to be expected given the loss of our first daughter.
Yes, that was a hard time for you both. I wondered that you painted that conversation piece of the three of you so soon after her death.
It was my way of coming to terms with it. And coming so soon after my poor father's death, his ever-changing fortunes made it particularly difficult.
For you, I would say.
I don't know. Once his wool business failed, I had to make my own way. Not a bad thing to be independent.
Not much money being postmaster.
Enough to get by, but not enough to pass on. I think his health in his mind suffered towards the end for fear that he'd not given his children a good enough start. But we've all made our own way, one way or another.
Your brother Jack come up with any more inventions?
He continues to working on solving the problem of longitude. The government has offered £20,000 reward for solving the problem.
A very handy sum.
Unfortunately, his mental capacity precludes him from working as much as he would like. Humphrey's doing better.
He's gone into the ministry, hasn't he?
Yes, but he's an inventor as well. And a more successful one than poor Jack. A drill plough and a tide mill, both awarded premiums by the Society of Arts in Manufacturing. He's currently working on modifications to the steam engine.
And what of you, my friend? How's life treating you?
Well, I hope you've invited me here to offer me another commission. I greatly enjoyed painting the landscapes of the fort, and I could really do with more of the same. I must tell you, I'm bored of portraits. They pay the bills, but it's landscapes and the rustic that stirs the soul.
And how have you found Ipswich?
You want the truth? I hate the place. And it's not proved as lucrative as I hoped either. Even with my friendship to Samuel Kildersby, the town clerk. He has put some work my way, but not nearly enough. And the populace is boorish. But I joined the musical society through local composer Joseph Gibbs, and I became the butt of all their jokes, at one point having my wig removed from my head and thrown about the room. I'm seriously considering going back to Sudbury. At least there I could paint conversations in landscape. My picture of Mr. and Mrs. Andrews was much admired, and probably the best I've done.
But you can't sit on your laurels. It's my belief that these artificial family groupings, conversations as you painters call them, are on the way out.
Full-length portraits, that's the way to go.
No one in Ipswich has got the money for anything but Head and Shoulders.
But you need to get better known. Suffolk is too much of a backwater.
You may well be right. I'm beginning to doubt my own ability. It all seemed achievable in London, working with Gravelo. Rocco was the thing. And at St Martin's Academy under Hogarth, it was all a buzz. I was admired for being original. Now I just seem to be a portrait hack.
I remember when I was walking with the editor of the local paper. Can't remember the man's name, not important. But anyway, we saw this yokel leaning against a gate. And it was only when we got up close that we realised it had been painted. It was a trick, a trompe-l'oeil. Yours, no less. Yes, locals call him Tom Peartree. That was when I realised you were a genius.
You're the only one who thinks so.
Oh, rubbish. You're just not in the right place.
Well, then where do you suggest? Back to London?
Not London. Bath. Bath is where society's at. Yes, sir, Bath. And the season is the place to be. The most fashionable watering hole in England, and you can thank Beau Nash for that.
But Margaret and the girls are settled in Ipswich.
But you're not.
I could never make a name for myself in Bath. Where would I begin?
You begin with a studio and a full-length portrait on display. Word would soon get round.
I haven't got a full-length portrait, or a good sitter to do one of.
And that's where I come in. I want you to meet someone. A young lady of my acquaintance, who I think would be perfect for your subject.
Who?
Well, she has of late come to live with my wife and I as companion to my wife, and I think she would be an excellent subject. Between you and me, if anything should happen to Elizabeth, I would not look any further. Although she's much younger, of course, but a more feisty female I have yet to meet.
I must declare I'm quite bored to death admiring the gravestones will not wait outside a moment longer.
Madam, I beg your pardon for keeping you waiting. Miss Anne Ford, meet Mr. Thomas Gainsborough.
Mr. Gainsborough, a pleasure, I am sure, sir.
Miss Ford, the pleasure's all mine. You're not, by any chance, the famous player of the musical glasses.
So you have heard of me?
I don't think there are many who cannot have. I must admit, music is one of my passions, but your concerts are legendary.
Oh, you were too kind, sir.
It must be quite a skill to play the musical glasses.
Anne also plays the viola da gamba. And she sings.
Playing the viola da gamba is looked upon as something of a scandal for a woman, as you may know, Mr. Gainsborough. For the fact is, it is held between the knees. But I do not care to stop, and it is only my father who is really tiresome.
He tries to interrupt her concerts. By gad, the man must be apoplectic with rage. She beats him every time.
But are you not part of his household still?
No, sir, I am not. Mrs. Elizabeth Thickness has kindly taken me in as her companion, so I'm no longer living under his roof.
He tried to have her arrested the first time she came to seek refuge.
Oh, yes. He took such offence at my concerts and my insistence that I did not want to marry and wanted to remain independent, that he had me picked up by the Bow Street runners and put in a carriage.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire.
As Philip points out, there was a man waiting for me who made unnecessary advances. Unfortunately, my father thought he might be a suitable suitor and a way of controlling what he sees as questionable behaviour.
But he wasn't.
My father has no idea of my needs. I am his only child, sir, but to him I might as well be a painting on the wall. Not only does he wish me to refrain from my concerts, he also insists that I marry a man of quite unsuitable qualities, quite a bore of a man, who also happens to have an estate in Jamaica. No, sir, I was not willing to be banished to Jamaica. I want a life in music and singing and acting, and no amount of my father tracking me down and trying to have me arrested is going to put a stop to that.
So, what do you think, Gainsborough?
About what?
But an excellent subject for your painting, what?
You wish me to paint Miss Ford?
Well, of course. She has a reputation, and you need one. You're both headed for Bath. What could be more opposite?
Friedrich Theodor Schumann is willing to teach me further. He is the leading expert, other than myself, on playing the musical glasses. I intend to have concerts and recitals, and also to write a method book on playing the glasses. I am being taught by the actor Thomas Sheridan, and intend to grace the stage with dramatic texts and poetry. I can also play the English guitar.
What do you think, Gainsborough?
I don't know. Miss Ford would make a striking subject.
What I suggest, Mr. Gainsborough, is a portrait with my Viola da Gamba. It would cause quite a stir, do you not think, if you were to paint me full length with an instrument which up till now has been reserved by the male performer.
What would your father think?
My father's opinion is of no consequence. I am an independent woman of independent means, and I have many men of standing who support me, including dear Philip, Governor Nicholas, whose protection I am at the moment indebted.
Would she not make a delightful subject? And with her in your Bath studio, people could not fail to notice.
Do you think I could do her justice?
I would not have suggested it if I did not think so. You have a natural gift for the female form. And I will commission it so you have no need to worry about payment.
Can I just say, Mr. Gainsborough, I know what the famous Mr. Constable has said about you. A depth of noon, a stillness of twilight, the dew and pearl of a morning are all to be found on the canvas. At looking at them, we feel tears in our eyes, and know not what brings them.
I think he was just being kind.
What I suggest, Mr. Gainsborough, what I most admire about you, is your ability to capture the garment of a female, your eye for a dress and silk. I think it would do both our reputations good to be seen by a wider audience.
Well, mine perhaps, but wouldn't it cause you some scandal?
I'm already surrounded by scandal, sir. My good father has seen to that by trying to have me arrested and trying to marry me off to unsuitable suitors. I do not care for society's opinions, and I will not be the meek and quiet mouse that women are expected to be. I intend to live life, and live it to the full, and I think, Mr. Gainsborough, that you wish to do the same. Let us help each other to these ends.
What do you say, Thomas? I think it could be the making of you.
Well, madam, let us to Bath, and I would be honoured to paint your portrait.
And I honoured to sit with the greatest portrait painter England is yet to discover.
Ah, that's the spirit. Now, the carriage awaits. Let us to Felixstory Cottage for a hearty supper and a drink to seal the deal. But Thomas, not a word to my wife about my intentions concerning Miss Ford, which I assure you are nothing but honourable at the present time. In my wife's delicate condition, it might not do her a lot of good.
I am indebted to you, sir, and I'm glad that your friendship has extended to patronage. You're right, of course. I will try Bath for a season. If this does prove my way to success, you will have all the credit.
Oh, my dear friend, the credit will always be yours. You have the talent, I am merely the facilitator. Now, no more of this. Let us away to enjoy supper and the company of two of the finest ladies in England.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings this part of the performance to an end. We're now going to move on, but not on the bus. We're going to the pub. As you all know, the pub is across the road, so it's perilous. But we've done our risk assessment. And if you've read the instructions on the safety instructions on the back of your programme, if you wear your high-vis jackets that we've given you, if you wear your hard hats that we've given you, everything will be all right. So let's go. It may be a good idea, though, when you cross the road, if you hold hands. But do a risk assessment before you decide who to hold hands with. Follow me. Just like to wait on the corner when you're across the road. That would be great.
Sorry, I don't want to go. I'm yes, it would be nice. Sorry.
Come on, can you steer?
Yes, dear.
Fast, Eddie.
Who wants to know?
Oh, well, it is you, isn't it? It's what they used to call you. Fast Eddie.
I haven't heard that one in years.
It was all over the papers at the time. You were famous, especially around here.
More like infamous. Keep it down a bit.
Oh. Yes, I'm sorry. Would you prefer Stephen King?
You're having a laugh, you are. Haven't used that one since I left the United States. Anyway, who wants to know?
Mind if I join you?
I do, as a matter of fact.
Well, there's no need to be like that. It's no fun drinking alone.
Yeah, well, I wasn't planning on staying very long, and anyhow, I'm expecting someone.
Oh? A lady friend?
It's none of your business.
I'm afraid it is. Yeah, perhaps I should introduce myself. My name's Jack. Jack Sterling. I believe you were expecting my father.
Jack? Little Jack? Ha! Well, I never. Not so little now. You were about the same age as Lee, weren't you?
A couple of years older. 6 at the time.
So where's the old man then?
Oh, yes. Well, he couldn't make it, I'm afraid. On account of the fact that he's dead.
Dead? Dead? Well, how come you sent me that letter then?
He's been dead for about 10 years now. No, it was me that sent you the letter. Well, after I saw you'd been tried and imprisoned, I knew where to find you.
Well, congratulations, son, you found me. Well done. So what's this all about then?
I liked Lee. He was the little brother I never had. I used to push him on the swings at the park.
Yeah. Well, I don't like the little bleeder. You know, it's him who grasped me up.
Thought it was his wife.
Ex-wife.
Oh, sorry.
Jessica, bitch. That was him he told about in the first place. Prat. Well, double prat actually, because they split up about a month later. But not until she grasped me to the authorities and claimed the reward money.
Maybe he was proud of you.
Proud? You've got a funny way of showing it. Anyway, that was the reward money. 100,000 in sterling. She got every penny. There's nothing left. So, if you're thinking of collecting, son, you're a little late, eh?
It's not the reward money I'm after.
Ha! You don't think I've still got money after all these years, do you? Come on, wake up. The authorities even took my fire service pension. 20 years that was building up. I didn't think they'd know about that, but they did. So there's literally nothing left.
Mind if I take a seat?
Yeah, sit down. Help yourself.
My father told me the story, you know. The great Felixstory Securicor robbery.
Yeah? I try to forget about it myself.
I have to admit, the first time I heard it, I was impressed. The planning involved. What, you lying about your teenage conviction for robbery to get the job at the Securicor in the first place? Picking an out-of-the-way place like Felixstowe, with a ferry connection to the continent, of course. Driving up to Lloyd's Bank on Hamilton Road, waiting in the van while your partner, pt1, was it? Completed the delivery, and then driving off with £1.2 million inside. Changing cars at the seafront, loading 30 sacks of notes into a Toyota, changing again at Landguard Fort.
Look, where's this all going, eh?
How the hell did you get away with it? You triggered an international manhunt. Everyone thought you'd gone to Spain or Cyprus. But no. No, it must have been the ferry connection to the continent, and from there, you caught a flight out to the US, where the lovely Debbie and then 3-year-old Lee were waiting.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't you like to know, eh, son?
And the money went too. All of it. How did you move that much money to the US with you? My father got rid of the car, burnt it out back in Essex. But what happened to the money?
Well, you seem to know everything, son. What are you asking me for?
Well, not everything. You see, my father never got his share. And he didn't forget about it. No, I think he told me the story so that I'd know he was still owed.
Now you listen to me, son. Whatever your father told you, he got his fair share, all right? Maybe he's got it buried somewhere, or he lost it on fast women and slow horses. I don't know.
Or maybe he lost it somewhere between Felixstowe and the South Wooden Ferrers.
You're barking up the wrong tree here. And even if you were right, don't make no difference. I haven't got a bean spent on a ranch in Colorado that me and Debbie never even lived in, on an investment pension fund that went bust, on cars that are now rusting in Missouri. Oh. Jeez, what a godforsaken place that is. Don't go there, son, nothing like Essex. Do you know, we all thought that was a good idea at the time. Me and your father planning the robbery. Thought we'd live like kings. But see, you don't know what it's like being on the run. 20 years of constantly looking over your shoulder. 20 years of Debbie bitching and moaning that she got her family and friends around her, and hating the sun and the heat and the flies. Me stuck in some dead-end shit job in Ozark trying to make ends meet.
So there's really nothing left?
Nothing. Literally all gone, as I said. Well, I was made bankrupt in 2010. I'd have thought you'd have known that. But you know, it's like a relief when I was like eventually arrested. That money didn't bring me any fun, pleasure. Split me and Debbie up. Turned my son against me. Like a 20-year prison sentence in itself. But I've been through the courts now, I've had my trial, I'm a free man now.
Served a short time though.
Time off for good behaviour, son.
No.
Model prisoner, me. But I'm going to tell you something before I go. I never mentioned your father's name, ever. And I never would. The old Bill knew I was working with somebody, but I never admitted it. So you see, son, there's nothing you can really do or say to make matters worse. And you might think you're owed money, maybe you are. But there ain't nothing left. You can follow me, you can track me, you can tap my phone, it won't do you no good. Just remember, I'm an ex-fugitive, an ex-soldier and an ex-con. I can look after myself. And besides, you can't scare a man who's got nothing left to care about, now can you? Oh well, I've had enough of this bloody place. Felixstowe. Wish I'd never bloody clapped eyes on it. Well, I'm off to Essex. Find some little backwater pub on some anonymous estate, that'll do me. I'm sorry to hear about your father. and you're home for a couple of beers.
Get all that? Yeah. None of it's admissible though. He didn't say the man's name once.